Pastor Jason here. We're reading through the Bible this year, and I want to do a special video on the book of Psalms because we're not just sitting down reading the Psalms in one section in this reading plan. We're reading one psalm a day alongside our other reading, and so we haven't designated a specific video towards the Psalms. I wanted to do that. As you're reading through the Bible this year, you will have gone through the Psalms 2.5 times. And it's a very special thing to do. It teaches you how to pray. We wanted there to be a prayer element to this reading plan. The people of Israel used the Psalms as a part of their worship. They prayed, they sang the Psalms, and throughout Christian history, people have used the Psalms as a prayer guide, and we want that to be for you as well. So we're reading one Psalm a day. And I want to just tell you some things to look for as you're looking at the structure of the book, the structure of the Psalms. It's actually broken down into 5 major sections. Chapters 1 to 41, 42 to 72, 73 to 89, chapters 90 to 106, and then chapters 107 to 150. And each of those are titled. You'll notice as you're going through the Psalms, it'll say Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 4, and Book 5. The compiler of the Psalms, notice that there's a specific phrase at the end of each section, which is, it'll say like, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting, amen and amen." And each section is going to end with this poetic phrase like that. It'll be repeated in some way, from everlasting to everlasting. Praise be to God. Amen and amen. And so it's 5 major sections, right? Well, you remember the Torah is broken up into 5 major sections, 5 books, right? Torah is it's a word for teaching, instruction in Hebrew. And you say, well, what is it teaching us about? Well, the first 2 books, the first 2 Psalms teach us what the whole book's going to be about. The first chapter, first Psalm, teaches you about, for the person who immerses themselves, pours themselves into the instruction of God, it tells you how your life's going to change when you do that. The second chapter is all about the Messiah, right? That there would be, from David's lineage, a king would be coming who's going to bring justice and peace. And I think these 2 major themes of the Torah, or instruction, teaching of God, and also the Messiah, 2 major themes of the book. Because as you understand the teaching of God, it's going to reveal the brokenness of this world, the brokenness of each and every one of us. But it'll lead us to the plan of salvation, which is the Messiah. Okay, so you're going to see those 2 major themes. As you're reading through the book, you'll notice that it moves from lament type songs or psalms to praise psalms. And those are the 2 major categories. A lament is like you're just crying out to God. God, I don't understand what's going on. You're crying out when life is frustrating, and you're just saying, where, God, are you? Are you hearing my prayers? Those are laments, and they're very real, transparent prayers to God. And Psalm starts with a lot of lament psalms. But as you keep reading, it starts to move predominantly to praise psalms. And I think there's a lesson even in that we're going to go through life, and there's going to be these confusing times where we're waiting for the Messiah, right? We're waiting for the Messiah. We're pouring ourselves into God's teaching, but there's times when life is very difficult. And in those times where we just have faith and hope in Jesus Christ, that our lives don't have to end in lament, that it's moving us towards praise, moving us to just praising God for all his promises and keeping his promises. And so this book, it becomes a prayer guide for you. It's not just a prayer book. I want it to be your prayer book as you're reading through the Psalms this year. I hope that helps as you're reading through. We'll see you next time. God bless.